I cannot remember exactly how old I was at the time. I was old enough to be able to wander around a little bit on my own, but not old enough to wander too far. And so on Saturdays especially, when our family would make its regular trip to downtown Hinton, West Virginia, I would do one of my favorite things. Go down into the basement of G.C. Murphy and look at all the little plastic models that you break the pieces apart and glue together with airplane glue. And I could just stand there for hours and look at them. One particular Saturday, when we all got back to the car and were getting ready to go home, I pulled out of my pocket one of those little boxes, very tiny, of a small car. To which my mom said, "Well, that's very nice. Did you have any money?" And my head went down. And she knew and I knew what the truth was. And so she ordered me to get out of the car with her and to walk across the street and downstairs into G.C. Murphy's in Hinton, West Virginia, and locate the clerk who was working the basement floor and hand her the little model and tell her that I was sorry that I had stolen this little car. It still makes me shiver a little bit when I think about it. Do you have any stories like that in your life? In the story that Dylan read for us today is a powerful message of how human beings are always trying to look for an angle. And the serpent, who is the tempter, is seeking to lead the woman to go ahead and do it. Like me looking at those models saying, "Oh, I really want that one. Oh, I really want that one," until finally I take it. The woman saw that the tree was good. It was pleasant to the eye. It was to be desired to make one wise. And she took of it and she gave some to her husband. My friends, in this time of life, all of us have things that we're tempted by. But not all of us are tempted by the same things. Many times that thing we are tempted to take or embrace or do will only create more heartache and more difficulty. It's been my experience as a pastor for 37 years to hear people's stories of how things that they did that they thought were going to be so wonderful and so beautiful and so great, but deep inside the heart, the little voice that was telling them no, but they listened to the serpent and chose their own way, and their hearts were broken, and the hearts of their families are broken. Every human being must learn in the presence of God to take responsibility for their lives. First, when God asked the man, "What have you done?" he said, "The woman you gave me." Now, we have heard for centuries that the man is saying that all of his problems are because of the woman. But he's saying, "The woman you gave me." The person he's blaming is God. And isn't that crazy? And then when God asked the woman, she says, "The serpent tricked me and I ate." My friends, you might think that being found out would make one bitter, would make one mad, would make one indifferent. The truth is, it sets you free. That day, my mom took me down into the basement of G.C. Murphy's and made me confess what I had done, and I didn't like it, but what my mom did for me that day was set me free. And I will be forever grateful to her. Anyone who encourages you to take responsibility for your life and your actions is a true friend. no matter how much that may hurt. And so, my friends, we have this wonderful opportunity that Pastor Matt referred to with Celebrate Recovery, because every single person in this place today has a hurt, a hang-up, or a habit that causes them stress. And more than likely, while you may possibly be not responsible 100% for that, someone else may have influenced or inflicted upon you, you still share in some responsibility for it and how you deal with it. Lastly, let me say that there is some really, really good news in this passage. The woman says, "The serpent tricked me and I ate." Did you know that the text goes on this way? It says that God turned to the serpent and said, "Because you've done this thing, you will be cursed from here on." Here's the good news, my friends. When the serpent is faced with the reality, he immediately is brought into accountability and judgment for what he's done, and judgment is passed. But not so with Adam and Eve. Both Adam and Eve are given opportunity to confess. My friends, this is the kind of God that I believe we worship today. We may have to face up to the consequences of what we've done, but it's not going to take God's love away. God is ready for us to acknowledge who we are and what we've been, and to love us in the midst of it. So, my friends, wherever you're at today, lift up your heads to a God of love. Take responsibility for who you are and what you've been, and know that even in spite of it, God loves you.